Welcome to Space Socket. A 39-year-old divorced woman says women want a glamorous marriage. Kevin Samuel steps in to school her. Let's dive in.
That's why you could not hear me.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, turn off the TV.
I
All
did.
right. You was all okay. How old are you?
I am about to be 39 next week.
Oh, what you got for me?
I've been watching you since the whole video, the viral video that went out. And what I have to say about Black women is a lot of us did not come from two-parent homes. I did. Most of the women in my family were married for years. My parents married for 45 years. A lot of us have not moved outside of the states or cities that we were born in. I have. My dad was military. I was married into the military. And so I've moved around, been to different countries, seen different things. And when you talk to most of your Black women friends and you're telling them the different cultural differences and how they live, you take on some of the things they did, they don't want to hear it.
What do you mean?
Huh?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, say for instance, when I was married, I just got divorced a year ago. I was married for 10 years, have 3 children.
Okay.
And in the town that I lived in the suburbs of Atlanta, I went to a birthday party. The woman across the street, her mother-in-law was there. She was a white woman and she was married to an Indian man. She told me, you see him? Now, she was taken care of. She never worked. She was a nurse. I'm a nurse. She never worked as a nurse. And she told me, you see my ex-husband? He was married to a now white woman. Her kids are there, whatever. And she told me, I married him because he saw me when I was in nursing school. And I didn't like him, but I saw what I would be like basically prepared for. So she's been taken care of. She married him. She said most women will grow to love men.
Yeah, that's right.
She said, I saw what he could provide for her. And basically, she's living a great life, even though she was married to him and divorced. And most of us Black women, as I saw in nursing school, a lot of us were baby mamas. I wasn't at the time. None of them had ever been married. And the white women, they were 22, 23 and had been married 2 or 3 times. And their next husband was better than the husband that they had before.
Okay.
And listening to your show now, listening to Black men, and you're saying that most single moms, you're pretty much done once you become a single mom. That's neither here, huh?
You're pretty much done when you're single. Well,
like
depending upon the kind of man you want, but
right.
higher up the food chain,
I do believe that you have to lower your standards with certain things, like there.
But were you married though, right?
Yes, for 10 years.
Were you married before you had a child or after?
Oh yes, all 3 of my children are by the same man.
Okay, well, did you have your children? Okay, so that puts you more in the category of a single mother, not a baby mama. That's a different thing.
Okay.
A baby mama is a woman who had children without the benefit of being married, and men look at that differently. They simply do. Women get mad when guys say that, but you can't tell a man what he. Go ahead.
I agree with you, and I agree with you on that because now, prior to me getting married, I met a lot of men with children that had already been divorced, and I wasn't looking for that. Now that I'm divorced with kids, I'm meeting so many single men that are in their 50s and 60s that never had kids, and I kind of don't want that. I kind of want you to be
single men who don't have kids because they don't know, they don't have your experience.
Yeah.
They don't have your experience.
But they're like, okay, I'll take it on. I don't want any kids because I don't want any more.
But let me ask you this. Did you watch this thing from the beginning when I was talking about
the color? I had to drop my kids off. I got to work in the morning, so I had to drop my kids off. I wanted to, but no.
The color purpling. The way this all got started was the discussion about why Generation X women are not having the same sort of results as their baby boomer and silent generation mothers and grandmothers. I was talking to a 40-year-old woman who stated her parents are married 45 years. And I said, well, why do you think our generation failed at marriage? And she said, because we quit, we leave. And eventually she said, because the women leave. And I was like, well, why? And she ultimately said, because we don't have to put up with the stuff that our mothers and grandmothers put up with. And when I asked her what, she's like, the abuse. And I'm saying that I did not witness my mother, my grandmother, or previous generations being massively abused. And that's what started off. We started talking about the color purple, how that's impacted our culture, these waiting to exhale movies, and all these things that make our relationships look one way, but then you objectively look around your neighborhoods and they either relationships don't exist or they don't exist where women are all looking like Miss Seeley and Oprah with the eye hanging out their head. That's not it.
No.
And go ahead.
That goes back to a lot of women didn't see marriage from beginning to end, and not saying beginning to end with divorce, beginning to end with death. Right. I have witnessed that, and people see my parents and see 45 years they lived in this big house in Atlanta, like we got that, but the endurance that it takes, I wanted to endure with my husband. I tried to. A lot of women don't want to do that. And
why do you think that is, though? That's what I see. That's why what her and I got crossways on, because I asked her, why are women not enduring when your grandmother and your mother and your grandmothers did? And this is primarily for people 38 and up. Why are people not enduring?
Because they're glamorizing marriage before they even get married. I didn't, because I saw what it took to have a long-standing relationship. I'm seeing it now. I wanted to have a long-standing relationship, but there are rules to, let's just put this, cheating with men. Men have been notoriously, white, black, whatever, known for kind of stepping out, whatever. But there are rules. When you break the rule, you bring them into the house, you do things that publicly embarrass me, then that's a deal breaker for me. There are rules to this thing. We know certain things as women. I would have been willing, not saying that I wanted him to cheat, no, but I had 3 kids by this man. We were living together. I'm working as a nurse.
Did he file?
Huh?
Did you file or did he file?
There were times when
I'm saying who filed for divorce?
I filed for a divorce because of the public embarrassment.
And I can hold on. Let me say, were his parents married?
Yes, my parents and his parents are married for the same amount of years, and yes.
So let me explain something to the audience. I've said this countless times. I'm going to continue to say it. While I'm not a cheater, never have, and if any of you ever get a chance to talk to anybody I've been involved with, they'll tell you several things about me. One, that I don't cheat. It's just not what I do. Not that I can't, it's just because I don't want to. But there are rules to it. And you guys got to understand, high value or whatever, you cheat, you got to understand you cannot embarrass your woman. No outside kids, no divorces, no embarrassments. Those are the rules. Yes. No outside kids, no divorces, no embarrassments. And there's also a fourth rule. You can't be putting financial strain on your primary family.
Absolutely.
So, and that comes from outside kids. Outside kids put financial strain on your primary family and cause embarrassment. I firmly believe, and I have seen, that many women are willing to deal with the man on many different levels as long as you ain't embarrassing her around town and making her look like a mother fripping fool. And this is why this whole color purple and all this other kind of stuff, because the men were embarrassing these women. I'm not going to be foolish enough to think that, I think everybody after Big Mama and Big Daddy died, you start to hear stuff about their marriage.
Right.
But they didn't make it look perfect either, but they at least gave us the facade that this is grown folk business, stay out of it.
Exactly.
We involving our kids in it and talking about it and too much stuff. They had a French toast code and we don't. And we keep putting ourselves back. We're just a weaker generation. We're weaker people. And I want to say this. Most of the men I know who are divorcees did not want to end their marriages. Sadly, that 80% divorce rate, many men wanted to stay and work through their marriages, but That's why I agree with what the caller and I got into it about the choice, the illusion of choice that so many Generation X women thought they had, but now we're starting to see that they didn't have it because look at them, look at all of us, 40 plus years old. You ain't supposed to see this many single black folks. So, well, appreciate you calling in. Make sure next time you get your microphone on, so you're not looking on the TV. Thanks, Tiff.
Thank
See,
you.
it's not that I disagree that I think women should deal with abuse. That ain't it. It's the fact that I see abuse happening far more verbal and emotional. I have physically, personally seen that happen more from female to male. I've seen women agitate, purposely irritate, instigate with their lovers and family members. And then when they get a response, it's, oh my God. Well, stop messing with people. I have never really seen, although it does happen, the kind of abuse that so many women talk about in facts, figures, data, statistics, this, that, such and so forth. But do you see that in your neighborhoods? And what we are down to now is, well, it really does happen. It just goes unreported. No. No, 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 no. You have that point. You can have that talking point all you want to. But if it goes unreported, then what do you want us to do about it? You want us to put it into the discussion, saying it's unreported, give them another concession saying it shouldn't be reported? Report it. If you want to, how about this, ladies? If you want to talk about it, it needs to be reported. If you want to discuss it, it needs to be reported. If it needs to be considered, it needs to be reported. If it can't be any of those things, then we don't need to talk. Then it doesn't need to be talked about. Because the only person hurt in your examples are men. I'm not going to continue to let you hurt men's image to make a point that fits your narrative.
Our upbringing does shape our look on marriage. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to say something on your question on why Black women don't stick around, is because I think our angry aunties, our angry mothers always were like, oh, you don't got to do that. You don't got to stay with him. You got your degree. Leave him. Leave that. You don't got to put up with nothing. You got to work for nothing. That's what I've heard in my
Man, what's that? Are you at work? Are you at work?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's noise in the background. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, so it can't work. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
Was the noise in our ears is not nothing positive. It's not from the hurt women. They're not telling us, the generation, do work. They're telling us just go out there, do what you want. Do what you want. Forget his feelings.
Okay, I'm expand on that. And she makes a good point, because you ladies got to realize, when you tell these young ladies are hearing you before they hear us, and what did Generation X get told? Get out there, get a job, take care of yourself. You don't need no man. Don't worry about no man. Silent generation and baby boomers basically set their kids on a collision path, and then wonder why it's all messed up, and wondering why Generation X women, men aren't your enemy. You ladies of 38 plus really need to sit down and ask yourself, the men in your life, who's really done what? You guys need to get specific about who offended you. Stop speaking as men in abstract. An extension. If your first love did it, then hold him accountable, but not all of man. And telling women that you need to worry about yourself and do what you want, and there's no consequences, footloose and fancy free, that is a good recipe to die alone, because where is a life of trauma, lack of accountability and consequence, then where you think you're going to turn around at 40 years old and decide to slow down and get a man? What happened to that woman who I talked to when I put the spoiled brat thing up today? She said, what? All my sorors out here who are 40 in their 50s, they've given up. They've given up. What other group of people, other group of women are suffering like a lot of you sisters? All this talk and propaganda and this and that, but it's you individually who are suffering alone. And when I've talked to too many women who ultimately say, I am tired of carrying all this load. Yeah, I could be a professional, and I got my PhD.
I'm a PhD.
I got my BMW. I got this. I got that. I can do it all. But I'm tired of this. At what point are you going to admit maybe this is better with somebody? At what point are you going to admit maybe, just maybe, the narratives I've been holding on to, I don't really see them in my daily life. And I really never seen them growing up. I believe they exist because I've heard other women tell me they existed, but I haven't seen it myself. But because I believe all women, and because I believe that these things go unreported, because I believe that we got to side with women in all cases, because men are our enemy. That's the only way this thing works, is when you set men up as your enemy. Well, over here, the gender war is over. I said it last year, and I showed this to show you why it got so bad, but that's not it over here. So if you want to still fight the gender war, go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. In the comment section, in the chat room, I'm not having any more of that shit. I'm not having it. I don't care what your standpoint is. If you want to be on gender war stuff and you want to be acting foolish and going back and forth with each other, I'm not even making announcements. I'm just removing you from the channel. Because there are other places to go. But this is a man's channel. It's for men. And men, my clients, my colleagues, my friends, the men I know, they want relationships with women. They just want them to be healthy, functioning, decent relationships. And I'm sorry. And there are more and more women saying, you know what? I want that too. Well, then those men and those women should be allowed to find each other, link up, and make a go of it. If that ain't where you're at, if you're a man or you're a woman and that ain't what you're thinking, if you're on I don't need, fine. You make your decision. Let them people who want to get together and go forward, go on and do what they do.
All right, let's break this down honestly. A 39-year-old divorced woman talking about wanting a glamorous marriage sounds appealing, but it misses what marriage actually requires. Because glamour is about appearance. Marriage is about function. And those are two very different things. This is where Kevin Samuels would bring in reality. Because the highlight moments people see, travel, gifts, lifestyle, are a small fraction of what makes a marriage work. The real foundation is consistency, compromise, responsibility, and the ability to handle pressure together. The problem comes when expectations are built on aesthetics instead of structure. Because if someone is chasing the image of marriage rather than the work behind it, disappointment becomes inevitable. Especially after a divorce, where the lesson should be about what didn't work, not recreating a more polished version of the same mindset. Marriage isn't sustained by how it looks to others. It's sustained by how it functions day to day. Communication, respect, alignment, and shared goals matter far more than appearances. So the real issue here isn't wanting something nice. It's prioritizing the look of a relationship over the reality of maintaining one. At the end of the day, a glamorous marriage might look good on the outside, but without substance behind it, it won't last on the inside.